just talking about Arnesia. This their biggest challenge yet, and a chance to really try to make a statement tonight against the high-powered Cyclones.
Yeah, and I think from here on out, every game is going to be a chance to make a statement and really big boost to the team, or, you know, a chance to adjust, but every game is going to be a challenge.
The newness of the Big 12, nights like this remind you of such. Iowa State and Arizona State, they have not played since November 25th of 1995. It was an Iowa State win of 8 in Ames that day.
I was 2 years old.
There you go. I was going to say 30 years ago. Basham will jump against Crooks. The Cyclones and the Sun Devils were underway from Mullet Arena. Iowa State will start off with the basketball. So much talk about Audie Crooks, and deservingly so, but Emily Ryan certainly part of that big three for the Cyclones. She is the quarterback of this offense. As right away, they get it to Crooks and an easy layup as Parkinson hit the deck, and the Cyclones break the seal.
I think we can expect to see a lot of that tonight, but it'll be also a challenge for Iowa State against the defense we were talking about from Arizona State.
How do you try to defend Crooks? We're going to find out how Arizona State is at least planning on doing that in the first few minutes, as Parkinson's three is off the mark, and Iowa State will corral that. That was Kelsey Jones. Personally,
I would work really hard on Audie Crooks off the ball. As I said, when she doesn't have the ball, she's always moving and looking for good positioning, so defense has to work twice as hard to make sure she doesn't find it.
Turnover will set up Kennedy Fauntleroy, who knocks down a three from the wing. Fauntleroy, a big-time shooter for Arizona State, has struggled so far this year, but a good early sign.
Yeah, that'll be good for Arizona State to be able to spread out the floor as well.
Three balls big for both teams. Iowa State, in chatting with coaching staff earlier today, as there's a long two that's missed. Rebound will fall ahead, and here comes Ty Skinner. Making the three ball is a key for them in order for them to turn around their season. How about Ty Skinner in transition?
That was a great shot from Ty. It'll be good to see her get going much faster during this game.
Maybe thinking at home, what do you mean turn around your season? Iowa State at 10-6, but remember, this was a team that was ranked 8th in the nation in the preseason poll. Really high expectations as Basham comes up with a swat. Here comes Fauntleroy ahead yet again in transition. Crosses over, will drive baseline side, cut off nicely, and Parkinson will pop and nearly get it to go from 17 feet.
It seems like Nevaeh has had room out there outside of the key, and that might be the plan for them, which is going against Audie.
Crooks cleans up the offensive glass, and a pretty two. First 4 points goes to Audie Crooks. See there that field goal percentage, third best in the country, as Basham turns around and draws the foul. That goes against Addie Brown, the first on the Cyclones. You know, something that we were talking about in preparation for this game, certainly Arnesia, is Arizona State's post players. They have to stay out of foul trouble. That, of course, being Basham and Parkinson when they're trying to battle down low with Crooks. But you can say it on the flip side, ASU, impressively so far knocking down a couple of outside shots. But this is a team, when they've been at their best so far this year offensively, they've been driving and cutting and slashing to the basket. Yeah, I was actually thinking, so they did hit their shots and that was good, but a dangerous thing that teams could do is get complacent or just get comfortable taking those shots, and if they stop going in, then that could be a problem. Yeah, these are two teams that have not had much success from downtown. We mentioned Iowa State under 34% as a team. That's well below where the Cyclones expected themselves to be from downtown. ASU at just 31.7% from three-point range. Nice heady play that time on a pump fake, and Addie Brown draws a foul right back as she'll earn a couple at the stripe. Addie Brown, a part of that phenomenal sophomore duo, along with Audie Crooks, and Brown, someone who last year really had a historic season. 400 points, 250 rebounds, and 150 assists. That's the only Cyclone to ever pull off that feat. And get this, Arnesia, just the 28th since 1999 in all of college basketball. Oh, well, yeah, no, Addie has also done a great job for the Cyclones. You could actually see it when she was coming down the floor. She knew that she was going to go right back at Kennedy and make her play good defense there. He's an all-around player. Brown, the sophomore from Derby, Kansas. Midwest player, that Midwest toughness as well. She goes 1 of 2 from the line. Basham was beaten to the ball, though. Nice hustle by Jones. And the Cyclones steal away a possession on a little bit of a mental error, a lack of hustle. Out of the shot clock. A swing out to the wing. Here's Jones driving around Basham. Cut off, back to the top of the key. Ryan's three is cash. Ryan, 39% from downtown. Foot might have been on the line, but regardless, extra points for the Cyclones on that possession. Take a look at that to see whether or not it was a 2 or a 3 the next timeout. Here's Fauntleroy. Gonna work her way inside, a spin cycle and a fall away. Gets the friendly roll off the front of the iron.
Fauntleroy has gone so comfortable. She wasn't starting before, now that she's starting, being able to drive and also take those shots. She seems very comfortable out there.
Wide open quarter 3, Jackson gets it right back. And how about Iowa State waking up from downtown? 2 consecutive triples. Brianna Jackson knocking that one down. Cyclones take their first lead in the early going. Basham on the elbow. Nearly had it poked free. Parkinson will get it back. Pop from 16. Miss it off to the right. Basham pulls down the rebound, and there's the offensive rebounding ability of the 6'7" Kennedy Basham.
Iowa State has done a really good job of finding each other open on the outside. This is where Arizona State is going to have to work on that communication that I brought up earlier, because they are having to rotate and they don't want to leave those shooters open like that.
It's an unselfish pass that last time by Kelsey Jones, just kind of swiping it back over to the corner where nobody in a white uniform was standing. Basham knocks down that first free throw. A couple of changes as well for Iowa State as Brown and Crooks both hit the bench. First time we've seen Elisa Williams into the game for the Cyclones. So Basham's going to be a factor really all conference season long, but especially tonight. The Oregon transfer, originally from Phoenix, transferred back to Arizona State. One of the taller post players that Iowa State has seen, or will see rather, in conference play specifically at 6'7". Sydney Harris also into the game for Iowa State. Pounding pressure here for the Sun Devils. The Cyclones break it, and Jackson knocks down a second consecutive 3. And 9 straight points for the Cyclones coming from downtown. Just had a feeling, Arnesia, that if Iowa State could get things clicking in the early going, not only watch out for the rest of tonight, but the rest of the conference better take notice. Here's Levette to the corner. Fauntleroy able to answer. It's raining threes here in Mullet Arena.
I know it is. I was saying don't get complacent, don't worry, but as much as you don't want to rely on them, they definitely should take them if they're open and they're hitting them.
These two sides have combined to start 6 of 8 from three-point range. How about another attempt? How about another make? This time it's Sydney Harris. She's a sniper from deep.
They're making you want to get out there.
A high-scoring affair. Not even to the midway point of this first quarter. Basham was fronted in the post. It was off the hands of Basham, and it goes Iowa State's way. A deep breath for both sides. It's a few changes. The Cyclones, and also for Arizona State, as Jalen Brown enters the game along with Jazz Jackson. And for Iowa State, first time we see Reagan Wilson. Iowa State at 6 of 10 from the floor, and as we noted now, 4 of 5 from three-point range. Another chance. This time it's good again. It's Wilson. Everyone joining the party for the Cyclones.
It is a rain and breeze out here. It'll be interesting to see who will switch up their defense first, because they can't keep going like this.
They've hit their less. Brown good from the mid-range. You hear sometimes there's a lid on the basket. Right now it's like you're shooting with a baseball, throwing it in to a regulation hoop. Already 8 threes. Can they make it 9? Why not yet again? This is unbelievable. Sydney Harris from deep. And this is like an all-star game right now.
Definitely should have took the over on threes.
Iowa State, 7 of their last 7 from the floor. Finally a missed shot for either side, and a nice high-arcing rebound to Harris.
Okay, so I will say that shot from Ty, I don't know if it was the best shot to take, because...
Hold up. Oh, my goodness gracious. Ariana Jackson, 8 of their last 8. The Cyclones pour off their bench, and a timeout on the floor. It is a barrage, a blitz, a frenzy sea of threes in Tempe. And for the Cyclones of Iowa State, they have started 7 of 8 from downtown. They lead by 9.
They do. I actually feel like they might think they're in a home game right now, but they're doing such a great job of hitting those shots, and I will not say it again that they should not take them.
7 assists on 9 made field goals so far. The Cyclones have started 7 of 8 from downtown. And they've scored 26 points in just a little bit over 6 minutes of gameplay. Arizona State lucky for the Sun Devils. Their offense has been good so far as well as Jalen Brown scoops inside for 2.
I feel like Arizona State is going to need a lot of that through the rest of the game.
Also, for those of you keeping track at home, now 944 straight games that Iowa State has made a 3. You got to go back to February 19th of 1995. And yes, they put that any drama as far as that streak to bed pretty early. If you're Arizona State, though, Arnesia, we're drooling over Iowa State's start, and deservingly so, but you're only down by 7. You're here at home. How do you try to forget about that? Do you forget about that? How do you try to adjust?
I do not think you forget about it. You definitely want to adjust to what you're already doing. Honestly, on both ends of the floor for Arizona State right now, they need to get into a groove on the offensive end. And then on defense, I think they're working really hard. They are almost in the right position. I think they just need to figure out how to not leave people wide open.
Nice find off the inbound that time by Ty Skinner, and Jazz Jackson lays it up and in. For reference, I know we started the broadcast, excuse me, Arnesia, is that Arizona State's defense has been improved. They'd allowed 26 points or fewer in 3 of the last 6 halves. Look at the scoreboard right now. They've given up 26. We're not even through a quarter. Not even really close to being through a quarter.
Yeah, they are definitely going to want to slow that down.
Gonna have to. Here's Brown. Rolling baseline inside. Jalen Brown is so shifty and able to get to the basket yet again. Brown now with 6 off the bench.
Yeah, it really isn't easy going that hard to the basket and then slowing up right before you're about to shoot it. So she does a good job of that.
SU quietly 6 unanswered points over the last 60 seconds. Skinner defending in the post. Crooks back into the game, by the way, after she exited for a while. They throw it down low, defended by Parkinson. Crooks lobs a pass, gets it right back on the right block. A turnaround 2 off the mark. Good defense that time by Parkinson, and ASU comes up with a stop. Under 2 minutes to play, first quarter. And if you like points, this is hog heaven for you. Parkinson can't get the 3 to go. She's been aggressive from downtown. Knocked down her first 3 of the year a few games back against Penn. And she's been quiet to start this game, 0 of 4 from the floor. Deflected by Brown. Picked off at a 2-on-2. Fauntleroy hits the brakes, kicks out. Offensive foul against Kennedy Fauntleroy. Great defense that time by Iowa State transition. Really
good defense. They got up and stopped the ball as much as they could. Fauntleroy just couldn't control herself in the key, unfortunately for her. But that was a great job by Iowa State being there to take the charge.
Cyclones have possession, and it is the red-hot shooter, Brianna Jackson. 9 points on 3 of 3 from downtown to start this game. Feed the beast and Crooks. Nice pass out to the wing. Another triple goes down. This time it's Kelsey Jones.
At this point, I feel like they just want everybody to get one.
They're eclipsing all expectations from downtown. Now 8 of 10 from 3. Brown no good from downtown. Offensive board to Parkinson, but it was stripped free. And a late whistle and a foul will be called against Nevaeh Parkinson. And those are the kind of plays you can't make if you are a post player for ASU. A foul 90 feet away from the basket. Under a minute to go in the corner.
Yeah, you can. And I think it stemmed from the shot that was taken because no one was really in position. No one's ready. And now I'm going back because this is where I was saying you don't want to get complacent. You don't want to get sucked into the game of shooting these shots because the other team is. You have to do what's working for you, and that's not three-pointers for Arizona State right now.
Hansford will throw down low. Crooks defended, but does not matter. Right over the top of Parkinson. There's the strength of Audie Crooks. Sometimes with players like that, you just got to shrug it off and say, I don't know what I could have done differently.
Yeah, just be ready for next time.
Tip of the cap. 2-second difference between shot and game clock. Jackson got behind the defense and swatted away by Harris. ASU keeps the possession. 10 to shoot. Jaya Levette. Levette to the elbow. Jump shot off the mark. Rebound falls into the awaiting hands of Jones. Under 5 to play, opening quarter. Harris inside. Floater off window is good. There's a foul, and it will be a chance at a 3-point play for the Cyclones. The backside official was coming in ready to call a charge, but in front of the play, the call was made, and now Sydney Harris, who's had a phenomenal first quarter, will have a chance at a 3-point play.
Yeah, it was a great first set by her, and then that was a good job by the referees also letting each other call from their zones, because it was his call on the other side, and he could see straight on what was happening. From the back, it looks different.
So for Harris, 8 points in the first quarter, make it 9. Iowa State has a double-digit lead after 1 as Skinner's baseball heave is short. And for the Cyclones of Iowa State, they're happy to get out of the cold weather of Iowa. They feel like they are in summertime weather. They're shooting red hot. The Cyclones dominating after 1.
It is not, no. They're doing a great job out there today working together, but also, I mean, they have these shots and they know they're hitting them, so I would keep taking them as well.
Yeah, why not, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. For the Cyclones, it's been a little bit of everyone so far. Harris with 2 triples, Jackson with 3 so far, and 3 other Cyclones, each with a 3, all in the opening quarter. Arizona State was able to hang in for the majority of that first quarter offensively, but they closed out the first quarter not able to score in the last 2 minutes and change. Get an extra possession here off of a layup that was no good by Jalen Brown. She's kind of been that really aggressive offensive threat so far for ASU. 6 points off the bench.
Yeah, I think that was a good take by Jalen there, even though she wasn't able to finish it. Good take. I mean, they got the ball back. There was no foul. It worked out for them better than outside shooting right now.
Yeah, Brown played 22 minutes in one of ASU's last games, I should say. Missed a couple of games with back issues, back spasms. Now they're going to look at clock. So an early review. We'll take a timeout on the floor. So, quick chance to catch your breath here from Tempe. Iowa State on top by 11. Of late, 10+ in 5 straight games for Arizona State, scoreless so far tonight.
Yeah, Jaya has been doing great. She is scoreless so far, but it's not something that we think that she can't do. And she's a player that I like to see on the floor anyway, because even when she's not scoring, she's doing something else beneficial for the team, whether it's running the plays, getting other people open and finding them. And on defense, she's huge as well at the top. So it's good to have her on the floor for the Sun Devils.
3 by Skinner out of that timeout. And that's a great point, Arnesia. The really great thing about Levette so far is there's a layup inside and a friendly roll for Emily Ryan. To finish the note on Levette, whether it's assisting, rebounding, playing defense, like you said, she kind of makes her impact felt all over the floor. This time she has it jarred free, and guess who? Yet again, it is Emily Ryan. We talked about Ryan at the beginning of the show, one of my favorite players I've seen so far this year. She's just tough. She's gritty. A senior out of the state of Texas, or Kansas, I should say. Got the layup to go that time. It was funny when chatting with coaching staff during shoot-around today, said, look, at practice you probably hear 2 voices, Emily's and mine, and I couldn't tell you which one carries more weight. I mean, that goes to show just how much she's respected by her teammates.
Yeah, and she is the only senior on their team, so I'm sure that carries a lot of weight with her team. She's done this longer than everybody, and they want to do what she's done, so I'm sure she's big for them.
And she's hooping right now. Another turnaround, too, for Ryan. 5th year in Ames. Has been a part of a very successful run for the Cyclones, a program that has become a year-in, year-out threat. Make a run in the NCAA tournament. There's Kennedy Basham from downtown. That's a part of her game she worked really hard at in the offseason. Good to see dividends paying off there.
Yeah, and that was huge in this situation. The game situation, that was huge.
Things kind of teetering right now for ASU. They just can't buy a stop. Addie Brown goes to the tin for 2 more. At some point, you talk about ASU getting things together offensively, but Iowa State's still shooting 71% from the floor. You got to get things intact on that side of the floor if you want a chance. As Brown traveled before, there could have been a foul call. It goes back to Iowa State again.
Yeah. Tough call for Jalen there. Going in, we said it earlier, it's hard to control your body anyway. So going in there, she doesn't want to be throwing her body around too much trying to get those fouls. Just go in and get your points.
So I know it's easier said than done, and it seems daunting when your opponent is shooting the way Iowa State is, but what adjustments do you think ASU can even try to make right now, defensively? Well tells me everything I needed to know.
Let me think about this.
Yeah, you can get back to us because it's easier said than done. Extra fine, another open three. Jackson nearly got it to go. She was a perfect 3 of 3, and that thing was halfway down.
I'll just give it to you in points as they come. I would not help off the ball side there and leave shooters open on the ball side.
A rare miss from downtown is what that was. 8 of 11 from 3. Throw it down low this time. Elisa Williams. She'll get it right back against Basham. Go up strong, a little heavy off the heel of the bucket. And ASU does finally get a stop. Sun Devils gave up over 100 a couple of weeks ago in their Big 12 opener before the new year against Utah on the road. Utah team that looks really good, by the way. They beat Iowa State last week in Ames. The defense, topsy-turvy, and yes, they played better of late, but this is still a team that's giving up 72 points a game. That's 317th in the country.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Natalie Ryan at the top of the key. Jackson defending. Ryan gets it back, and she travels. Goes right back to ASU. Third turnover on the Cyclones as Fauntleroy checks back in for ASU, and Jones returns for Iowa State.
Yeah, Arizona State is not getting too many turnovers like that right now, so it's going to really matter for them to take advantage when it does happen.
They got to play a near perfect rest of this game. And yeah, 14 points is not insurmountable, not even close to that. Not suggesting that, but just the look so far. Iowa State looks like a team that's locked in and looks like a team that was preseason number 8 in the country.
They do, and it's gonna come down to them. I mean, playing hard and also finishing their plays. Just the last 2 times down the court, they're getting okay shots up, and they're not going into rebound. They haven't finished them, but they're not going to rebound. They're kind of just running back and giving Iowa State a chance at the basket again.
ASU scoreless for the last 2 minutes and change, to your point. Here's Ryan. Dribbling around, and that's a 3 in the key call that time against Addie Brown, who was posted up down low. And it goes back to the Sun Devils. 5:52 to go, second quarter. If you're just joining us, Iowa State started this game as hot as the Arizona desert in July. 7 of 8 from 3, 9 of 13 from the floor overall. Their lead is up to 14. They've led by as many as 15 so far. Jackson will hoist a 3. Not quite getting the friendly roll. You know, this is the arena and hoops that the G League affiliate of the Suns play on. They're shooting like a professional team. That is Iowa State, as there's a foul down low, and it'll be 2 free throws yet again for Addie Brown.
Yeah, I got to make it out to a G League game.
Yeah, well, it's just like watching this in terms of the shooting. So will be Addie Brown back to the free throw line. 14 points, 7.5 boards, and 4 assists per night so far on the year for Brown. It was the Athletics preseason breakout player of the year. So high praise, deservingly so for Brown, as they've already documented what she did last year in her freshman campaign, a season that Iowa State went on and won 21 games. A first-round NCAA tournament game against Maryland, where, of course, Audie Crooks really took the nation by storm. He had over 40, had 40 rather, against Maryland in that game. A 20-point deficit was erased for Cyclones, and then they nearly beat Stanford the next round. A 3 for Fauntleroy off the mark. ASU's gotten pulled from the floor, Anicia. They haven't scored in over 3 minutes now. And it's in danger of getting out of hand, it seems. kickball. It'll stay with Iowa State. 22 to shoot. Shooting discrepancies now starting to widen more and more and more. Iowa State still up at 65% from the floor. And ASU, after their most recent 0-5 spell, they're at just 36% shooting so far.
Yeah, if I was Arizona State, I would definitely focus on getting higher percentage shots when we have the ball.
Crooks lost it out of bounds. It'll go back to ASU, and that's another thing about Iowa State so far. Audie Crooks, somewhat quiet by her standards, 6 points, 2 rebounds, but it's not necessarily had to be on her shoulders. And I know that with the coaching staff and Crooks, A-okay with that. Here's Fauntleroy. Up top, Levette. Over to Jalen Brown. Pumps out a 3. Will look to drive inside with a little hezzy fake. Way off the mark. Falls to Parkinson, who missed on the second chance bucket. And the rebound corralled by Brown.
They didn't get points there, but that is what I would like to see them doing, driving and getting second chance shots.
Stepping on the sideline that time, out of bounds before the shot. And it will go back to ASU as a missed 3 anyways, but the Sun Devils will get it back. So both sides slowing down a bit offensively. We've documented Arizona State's 0-for-7 dry spell. Iowa State, they have not made a field goal in over 3.5 minutes on their end as well. Here's Skinner, ASU's leading scorer at 17 per game. She's been quiet so far, and she remains quiet. Another missed shot for the Sun Devils. Here comes Jackson. Brooks will hand back. Jackson nearly at a poke free. Brooks had post position. They don't find her in front of the basket. A baseline drive inside. The floater off the mark. Empty trips. Back and forth we go. Here comes Fauntleroy. Bounce pass intended for Brown, but off the mark. And a giveaway for ASU.
That was a really good job of ASU trying to get some transition offense there. I think it's going to be really important and key for them not to get down on themselves when something doesn't work out.
Gotta stay in the fight.
You do. They're in a mental game and a physical game right now, but it's very mental right now.
That was just too easy. Throwing down low to Audie Crooks. You see the big smile on her face as she draws the foul. And that's one of the things that makes Audie Crooks so much fun to watch. You can tell she truly loves the game of basketball. I mean, she could miss a shot. She'll smile. She could turn the ball over. She might not be happy, but there's always a smile on her face. She's a special player, a special person. In the tiny town of Algona, Iowa, just 5,000 people or so in that town. And she's got quite the story to her. As we mentioned, that phenomenal freshman year, but grew up playing the game with her mom in the driveway. So as a background in marching bands, also a shot put, track and field. I mean, the stories go on and on. They've been well documented, but really excited to see her play in person. I know you were, Arnesia, and just a really special talent. They've got names.
Yeah, I was really excited to see Audie tonight. Unfortunately, I don't think they're using her the way I was expecting her to use her tonight, but I think that's also part of their game.
Right.
That was probably the scout plan, and it changed, and they're able to go off of that, so that's also exciting for Iowa State.
Offensive foul to Jai Levette, and I think that's a great point. Iowa State had a really good portal class coming in. That's why they were so excited. There were so many expectations. You're seeing why tonight. The other talent, if you will, not the Audie Crooks, the other people that can step up for the Cyclones so far in this game. That has been the storyline for the Cyclones, as yet again Addie Brown will go back to the free throw line, place where she has made herself comfortable so far tonight. Free throw attempts 5 and 6 to come.
And they've all been really excited for everybody from their bench. We can see them. They're always cheering, always excited. Even Audie, when she was on the bench, she was smiling and cheering. So,
yeah, this is an Iowa State team that had about as tough of a non-conference schedule as you could imagine. Get this, 3 of the 4 Final Four teams from a year ago, Iowa State played them in the non-conference. Iowa, South Carolina, UConn. They played all 3 of them non-conference play. So yeah, that 10 and 6 record, but they have been battle tested already.
Yeah, and I was going to say, we talked about making statements earlier. That is a great way for teams to make statements, and that's why scheduling and planning your games is really important. In case anybody didn't know, some games do weigh heavier than others, and it's worth it. It's beneficial in the end to have played a lot of really good competition and big games versus the other option.
They had those tough performances against UConn, South Carolina. Can't really blame them for that, but that 0-5 mark in the quad one. Iowa State knows, though, if they can get things going, take care of business in the Big 12, they'll still be a force to be reckoned with come March. Here's Brown, a quarter three off the mark. Arizona State, they just can't buy a bucket all of a sudden. 0 for their last 9 from the floor. Reagan Wilson. Driving inside Jones, kicking out to Wilson. Now on the wing, it's Jackson. And a reach-in foul will go against Jaylen Brown. Trying to play aggressive defense, and Brown picks up foul number 2.
There's definitely going to need to be some adjustments made.
So get this. After one, it was 34-23 Iowa State. Second quarter so far, 8-3 in favor of the Cyclones. Defense has stepped up on both sides. Obviously, missed shots play a factor there as Jackson knocks down the first free throw. But I think it's hard-pressed to find a game that starts as high-scoring as we saw this one tonight, and then basically a polar opposite the very next quarter.
Yeah, I have a feeling that it'll pick up again. But a big thing will be to get your offense and your defense on at the same time.
Levette finally does get on the scoreboard. First points for Jaya Levette, and that does snap a scoreless streak for Arizona State that had gone over 6 minutes time from the floor. Just over 2 minutes to go, first half of play. Cyclones will travel down I-10 and take on Arizona this weekend. ASU will be at home again on Saturday against Baylor. Crooks was denied by Basham. That's some words for Audie Crooks. After the block on the other end, Fauntleroy is fouled. And 2 free throws to come for Kennedy Fauntleroy. Fauntleroy with 8 points, leading the way for Arizona State so far, by the way. 3 of 4 from the floor for the one-time Oklahoma State Cowboy, as well as Georgetown. Baylor Bears doubleheader. Both the men's and the women's teams will be in action Saturday at Desert Financial Arena against Baylor. As we said, first at a blackout, the women take the court at 5:30 Eastern, 3:30 Mountain. And the men's squad takes the court against Baylor as well, 9:30 Eastern, 7:30 Mountain. Both games on ESPN+. Across the road at Desert Financial Arena for those two. Crooks down low, again blocked away by Basham. Consecutive tough defensive stands by Basham. She runs the floor ahead, and it will be a blocking call against the Cyclones.
That was a tough one.
We mentioned this earlier, Arnesia, and first time we're going to have extended conversation about this, is Basham, one of the better shot blockers in all of college basketball, 12th so far in the country in blocks, and there's the block call on the other end.
Yeah, seeing the replay, you can tell that it was a block because Iowa State wasn't in front, wasn't ready, kind of caught Kennedy on the side. So good job by Kennedy by continuing to the basket there. Definitely a block call.
Now that time went on Harris. Is her first. Talking about Kennedy Basham, as we said, those 2 blocks per game, and she's already reached that mark just in the past couple of possessions. Back in her hometown after transferring from Oregon. Just over 90 seconds to go in the second quarter. But finishing the thought I started getting into before that last foul. It almost feels like Hilton Southwest, if you will. A lot of Cyclone fans here tonight.
Oh.
A lot of Cyclone.
Yeah, I can hear them chanting.
Down low, Crooks. And layup won't go. We'll look for the foul call, didn't get it. Trying to work it through Audie Crooks a bit more in this last little bit, but ASU, give them credit. They've been strong in the interior as Levette knocks down a 3. And how about this for ASU? A 9-0 burst, have it back down to single digits.
It's actually crazy because the score tells a different story than what it feels like, but that is great. You're always in the game. You cannot stop playing just because of how it feels.
There's the first 3 of the second quarter for the Cyclones, and it comes at a big moment. Guess who? It's Jackson yet again. She's been deadly now, 4 of 5 from downtown in this game. Final 30 seconds of the first half. Fauntleroy can't get the friendly bounce, and just about a second difference between shot and game clock. The Cyclones basically get the final shot of this second quarter if they choose to run it down, and it looks like they will. 47 points at the moment for Iowa State. Their offense has put up those numbers despite scoring just 13 points in this second quarter. Ryan. Chest pass right off to Harris. Down low, Crooks. Swing out a 3. Jackson, no good off back iron. Long rebound to Crooks. Didn't get the shot off before the horn sounded, and it doesn't for the opening half of play. A barrage of 3-pointers in the opening 20 minutes for the Iowa State Cyclones. They knocked down 9 threes in the first half of play, and they lead by a dozen here at the half in Tempe. 47-35 the score. The Cyclones on top, and it was all Iowa State from the get-go in this game. They're paced by Ariana Jackson, who had 14 points, 4 of 6 from three-point range. The Cyclones looking to push their conference record back to 2-2. Halftime in Tempe.
I just could see them trying to look in a little more, just expecting Arizona State to also make some adjustments and not be leaving people open on the perimeter so much.
Look at Crooks as the Cyclones start off with the basketball right away in the third quarter. Iowa State trying to go to 2-2 with the Big 12. They again feed Crooks, and right out of the gates, a very acrobatic move on the block for a deuce.
Yeah, and we saw Crooks and Basham kind of getting a little chippy before halftime too, so I expect them to come out battling as well.
Right away, a giveaway as Skinner turns it over. 7th turnover on Arizona State so far in this game off the travel, and it goes back again to the Cyclones. Points in the paint, typically, as you'd imagine, heavy, leading the way the Cyclones. 16 points in the paint so far for ISU. Straight away, Ryan dumps it off, back down low. Crooks around Basham. There's 4 in a row for Audie Crooks to start this third quarter. Looks like she is awake now. Double figures yet again for Crooks. That's all she does. Over 1,000 points in 49 games now at Iowa State. Here she comes up with a steal. It's the third fastest in Big 12 history to get to that 1,000-point mark. Transition 3. Just off the mark that time. Rebound up for grabs, so the possession stays alive for Iowa State. 4 straight points for the Cyclones to start this third quarter, and if Iowa State scores again here, it might be timeout time for ASU.
Yeah, I would agree.
Here's Brown spinning inside, gets around Basham, might have been partially blocked though. Good defensive effort by Arizona State. Here comes Jackson finding Basham. The transition pull-ups way off the mark. She was looking for the foul, did not get the call.
Yeah, again, I wouldn't rely on getting fouls and that being the game plan. I do think they should slow it up and find better percentage shots.
Crooks, timeout towards the elbow. Goes to the corner, gets it right back, curls baseline side, reversal's good. And a big beaming smile. 6 points in the third quarter for Crooks.
She looks so graceful doing it too. It's like she's not even going full speed, but she just looks like she's tiptoeing ballet style.
Largest lead of the game for Iowa State. They've got it in transition. Shovel pass down low and a foul. And free throws to come for Addie Brown. It's a 6-0 run for the Cyclones to start this third quarter, and they're doing it, Arnese, on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, they are. And Crooks is really getting Iowa State going in this half so far right there. Like I said, she's just tiptoeing through, and she's also good at dribbling down there with people collapsing on her. She'll take a quick dribble so she can get her steps to the basket. I think she's doing a really good job.
Joy she plays the game with, as we've documented already, is so much fun to watch. And that's really been an impressive thing. Like you said, her ability to dribble out of double teams, to pass out of double teams. Obviously, she's used to getting them by now.
I was going to say she's had a lot of practice, I'm sure.
And she'll continue to, but still pretty impressive for a sophomore to be able to handle that. Curtain of distraction, they travel to Mullet Arena. Looks like maybe, is that supposed to be a zebra? I'm not
I don't
entirely
know.
sure. Cyclone. That's a cyclone is what it is. I just put it together. It's a cyclone. It did not matter as the free throw was good.
And the thing about the curtain of distraction is you don't want to have to think about what you're seeing. It just needs to distract you immediately.
Well, maybe, yeah. I just wasn't smart enough to recognize it.
No, that's good. You probably would have made your free throws because you wouldn't have been thinking about it.
Fauntleroy. I don't know if I'd make my free throws with no curtain. Levette. Foot might have been on the line. It is a long two for Jaya Levette. They'll look at this in the next whistle, but good to see Levette knock down another jumper. 7 now for the sophomore.
Yeah, you don't want to take that long. I mean, if it's going to be a long two, you might as well make it a 3, but points are points.
Short corner, Jay, way off the mark that time for Crooks, who turns around to the Iowa State contingent and smiles on her way back up the floor. Fauntleroy's jumper off the mark. Jackson pulls down the board, swatted away by Crooks, but there is a whistle, and it will be out of bounds. It'll just be ASU ball. Wasn't sure if they got a foul call there or not. 3 minutes into this third quarter. The State stretched this thing out now to an 18-point lead. Brown curls and kicks. Jackson a 3. It's good. There's Jazz Jackson knocking down her second field goal, her first 3 of the game.
She has been pretty quiet tonight, but not to say she's not doing good things for the team. She's really been good. Crashing the basket for rebounds, and she's always in the mix on defense, so her getting her points is great.
Jackson, someone who doesn't necessarily need a score to make her impact felt. That's a dribbling clinic. Beautiful move to the basket that time for Ryan, who went behind the back 3 times on that approach. Couldn't get the roll though.
Yeah, and great defense on the other side, being able to stay in front of that.
Jackson goes back-to-back with triples. And ASU, they're just pesky, staying around. Got it back down to 12. That was the deficit they had at halftime. An 8-0 run for the Sun Devils over the last minute 11. Now a whistle. It'll stay with the Cyclones at 17 to shoot. Give Arizona State a little bit of credit. You see Natasha Adair there on the sideline. Going to encourage her squad to stay in this thing. They've not pulled it away when they have faced big deficits so far in this game. Just back in there for Iowa State is Addie Brown.
Yeah, there's still a lot of time left. Really, anything could happen.
Down low. Working the pivot foot. Crooks didn't get the foul call, and here comes Arizona State. Levette. Left-hand layup is good. Jaya Levette with a little bit of a hezzy and finished with the left. So it's 10 unanswered points for Arizona State. Brown. Big 3 all at the top of the key. 3 no good that time. Offensive board to Brown. It goes right back up. Missed it. Rebounded Jackson. Iowa State just 1 for their last 8 from the floor. It's now Levette. Up to Brown. Brown crosses over, drives inside, tough 2 way off the mark. It'll stay with ASU. It's deflected out of play.
I wonder what the halftime talk was for Arizona State.
Well, in the initial 3 possessions in the second half, it looked like whatever it was wasn't good enough. It looked like Iowa State was going to run away. Got their lead up to 20. Since then, a 10-0 burst has gotten the Sun Devils back to within 10. Topsy-turvy so far.
Yeah.
Third quarter.
I mean, we know they needed adjustments. If I was at halftime,
Brown threw it off the back of Crooks and lays it in. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that was phenomenal.
That was great. No, that was great. And it was exactly what I was going to say. I would tell them to keep going at them, to stay tough mentally and do what you practice until It happens.
So Brown with a heady play. It's a 12-0 run for ASU, and they're right back in this game with 4:53 to play in the third quarter. Wow. Sometimes you throw it back to the schoolyard. Defenders all turn their back. Brown said, okay, right off you, All-American. I'll lay that in for two. Devils back to within 8. Basham with 9. It's truly been a little bit of everyone helping the Sun Devils to a 12-0 run. They're right back in this game.
Yeah, it has, and I think they're going to need everybody for the rest of the game doing exactly that, just to stay in this game and come back.
Foul on the block attempt as Brown came swinging down. That's a relatively easy call. Third foul on Brown, and it will be another timeout on the floor. Back-to-back we go with timeouts, bracketing us here. 3 great players. Crooks, of course, leading the way with those 23 points per game, and we'll be lucky enough to see Lee and Prince against Arizona State in the coming weeks as well. Out of the timeout, back at the line, it's Addie Brown. And first free throw no good. Iowa State hasn't scored in 3 minutes exactly. In terms of their scoring drought, ASU had a 12-0 run, and Arnesia, it's kind of that chess match we've talked about a lot, where Arizona State trying to defend the painted area early on. It led to the barrage of threes. Now they've readjusted, it seems.
Yeah, and that was expected if you're watching the game, because you don't want that to just be the game plan is let them shoot and make all the threes. But I think it's definitely going to be seen that Audie Crooks gets back into the game, or more use from her teammates, whether they're kicking it in and kicking it back out. But Arizona State did a good job adjusting, and then that's what basketball really is. You just adjust each time something happens.
Beautiful step back that time for Emily Ryan. 9 points now in the night for her. Good from 15, and Iowa State gets their first field goal since over the 8-minute mark to go in the third quarter. It's been a long drought for the Cyclones. Despite that, they're still at 50% from the floor. There's Levette answering right back. Jackson, bounce pass to the high post. Crooks down on the block. A fadeaway, no good over the top of Parkinson. That's a tough shot, but a wild carom will allow Iowa State to keep possession, and then a reach-in foul against Fauntleroy. So offensive rebounding has not been a strength for Iowa State so far this year, but a couple of really timely offensive rebounds so far tonight. Next week, the Sun Devils go to the Midwest. It's a Kansas road trip with the ASU women heading to historic Allen Fieldhouse to play the Jayhawks on January 16th at 5:30 Mountain. And then Sunday, heading to the Little Apple for Kansas State in the preseason Conference Player of the Year, Nikki Lee, January 19th at noon Mountain Time. Both games on ESPN+. In transition, Kennedy Fauntleroy.
That was a really good heads up from Fauntleroy there. Heads up play from Fauntleroy, I should say.
12 now for number 10. ASU, as close as they've been in a long time, they're to within 7. Trying to pull off their 4th straight win. And a statement opportunity. Crooks on a step back, kisses off window. That was nasty. Audie Crooks is heated up in the third quarter. She's now up to 15. Under 3 to play in the third. Levette drives inside. Good find. Parkinson scores for the first time this evening. ASU going blow for blow with the Cyclones right now.
That was a great find. I didn't even see it until it happened.
It was a beautiful find. Good hands as well by Parkinson. 2.5 to play now with the quarter. Rolling inside, Brown. Tough 2 is there. Both these offenses are in the zone just like that yet again, similar to what we saw in the first quarter. ASU is going to ultimately climb the mountaintop. Remember, they trailed by 20 here in this third quarter. They got to combine good offense with solid defense. Levette is now in the zone. Another 2 for Jaya Levette. She's now 6 of 7 from the floor and a team high 13.
I think one difference that we're seeing from Arizona State is they are taking better shots than they were in the first half, and that is half of the battle.
Top key, a jab step. Brown, tough 2 off the mark. Collected her own offensive rebound and was fouled. So more work on the offensive glass. It was Addie Brown who leads the Big 12 in defensive rebounds. She's done a nice job on the offensive glass so far in this game, and Brown will walk her way back to the charity stripe. Basham back into the game for the Sun Devils, so both post players into the game for ASU, Basham and Parkinson. That's the lineup they start, and certainly is something ASU's used to doing. Sun Devils shying away from a smaller lineup that had some success offensively as of late. Brooks is out. The two bigs in for ASU. Something to monitor as both free throws no good that time by Brown. It's an empty trip for Iowa State. Quickly ahead, Levette. No good. That would have been a big-time three, and a loose ball foul goes against Nevaeh Parkinson as she just picked up her third. So a trio of Sun Devils with 3 fouls each. Brown, Jackson, and Parkinson all with 3 now.
They're making a comeback here, but Arizona State is going to want to stop making unnecessary fouls and sending the Cyclones to the free throw line.
Bonus situation, and the foul discrepancy in this third quarter, 5-0. Iowa State yet to commit a foul in this third quarter. ASU is set now in the bonus. First free throw good that time, Elisa Williams. Coach's daughter, played for her mom in high school out of Denton, Texas. And the lefty goes 1 of 2 from the line. Iowa State now just 10 of 19 from the free throw line in this game. Something to keep an eye on if this thing is close late. The missed opportunities at the line. Skinner, who's been uncharacteristically quiet. There's a mid-range pull-up that's pure.
That was a good shot in the offense.
Pounding defense by Fauntleroy, and you thought it was just a matter of time she gets called for the foul, her third. So the fouls continue to mount, and back to the line the Cyclones will go. Minute 19 to go in this third quarter of play, and it will be the freshman Reagan Wilson. She's played quite a bit so far this season. Down the first free throw. Cyclones looking for their first road win of the season tonight. We've said they've played some tough games away from home, including a game at UConn. They're 0-3 in true road games this year. A couple of free throws knocked down that time nicely by Wilson. The lead's back to 8 for the Cyclones. They led by 20 earlier in this quarter. Fauntleroy, hold up, long 2 off the mark. Long rebound will roll out of play, and it belongs to Iowa State. Take a look at that, 5-1 at home. Of course, they played 9-1 at home, I should say, for Iowa State. ASU 5-1 at home, including 1-0 here on this floor at Mullen Arena. And they plan to play 4 games this year. Step back 2, and air ball missed everything that time by Brown. And back to the Sun Devils it goes with 45 seconds to go in the third. This building normally the home of Arizona State hockey and G League team here in Phoenix as well. As Skinner airballs a 3. It's just not been her night, and I think if you were to tell Tasha Adair that Ty Skinner and Nevaeh Parkinson combined for 7 points through almost 3 quarters, you would not be thinking it was an 8-point game.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. That wouldn't be my first thought, but everyone else has done a really good job of stepping up and filling that void that they have tonight.
Levette and Fauntleroy being the main 2, combining for 25. That duo. Point forward, Addie Brown. Spins around inside, kicks out, and a 3 for Wilson. It's good. Big-time shot for the freshman. And it's back to a double-digit lead.
I love her energy out there.
She plays with emotion. It's a lot of fun to watch. Fauntleroy at the horn is no good, and a really solid close for Iowa State after a dogfight of a third quarter. Looked like Iowa State was going to run away. ASU punched back, but a big-time triple for Reagan Wilson. And the Cyclones lead by 11 after 3 in that third quarter. And they're within striking distance. We start the fourth.
They are, yeah. They've obviously played much better offense that quarter. And I think part of it is because they were taking better shots than they were in the first half. Just higher percentage shot, and the transition is huge as well. You don't have to think too much or spend too much time finding a better shot in transition. You can get all the way to the basket.
Game summary, Iowa State came out red hot out of the gates. Made 7 threes in the game's first 6 minutes. Cooled off a little bit from downtown. Led by 20 in the third, though, before ASU cut it back down to 7. And they're back in it again as Levette can't get the finger roll to go. Wildly tried to split that double team. And an empty trip to start this fourth quarter for the Sun Devils. Whistle away from the ball, and a hard foul will send Crooks to the ground, and fouls certainly becoming more and more of a storyline as Parkinson just picked up number 4. And that was something we talked a lot about coming into this game, Arnesia. Fouls, especially for those post players. Parkinson now with 4. The Sun Devils have been hampered kind of with that storyline so far this year. And that was a big call there. She's going to have to come out 30 seconds into the fourth.
Yeah, fouls are a big part of the game, Braden, and they can be frustrating. Maybe you're not happy with the call, but when you see how a game is being called, you have to be able to adjust to that and play the game that is at hand.
That attempt was back volleyed. Take a look. These are the numbers per 40 minutes. So Parkinson typically gets her fair share of usage in terms of the allotment. Basham with 3.8 fouls per 40. But it's really been foul trouble stacking up everywhere as Basham gets the bucket to go and ASU back to within single digits. And they get over the hump. Got it down to 7 in that third quarter. Easier said than done. Crooks got position. It was set up beautifully. And another 2. Crooks now with 17. She's having herself a very solid second half of play. That is Audie Crooks. At just 7 points in the first half, 10 so far through a little bit over a quarter in half number 2. Brown tried to split a double team. She was cut off by Crooks, but it does not matter. Jalen Brown, she can kind of just slide her way through, evade defenders, and finish. It's really pretty to watch.
Yeah, she can. That one was a great finish. I thought she should have gone the other direction, but she's really good at getting the ball up and over.
Cutting on that lane line, and another foul is called. That'll go against Levette. And for Jaya Levette, that is her third foul, I believe. Second, rather, on Levette, I should say. And it will be a free throw, couple, I should say, for Addie Brown. I'll tell you what, who knows what's going to happen in the final 8-17 of this game, but Arizona State, a team that was picked to finish toward the bottom of the Big 12 this year. Their fight tonight has been impressive. They might not win this game outright, but they've had a few chances. I mean, that opening barrage from Iowa State would have put a lot of teams down in the dumps. And then you trail by 20 in the third. They responded with a 12-0 run. It's been impressive, the fight they've shown.
No, you're right. No, it has been impressive, and they are not usually a team to back down from a fight. So it's kind of their character to see that, whether they win or lose. But yeah, it is impressive to be able to stay in a game regardless of the score.
A couple of neat
or the feeling.
Yes, for Brown. Now double digits, 11 points. On the night for Addie Brown. Speaking of Browns, Jalen drives inside. She's bumped on her way to the basket. Foul will go on Emily Ryan. Foul fest starting to ramp up a bit here in this fourth quarter of play. And it will be Jalen Brown to the free throw line. 16 points per game for the junior from Baltimore. Sun Devils have been really solid at the line tonight. Haven't been there a whole lot. Iowa State has taken 23 free throws. ASU now will attempt number 10 from the line. And I will not be charged with the announcer jinx. They're now 10 of 10 from the line. I waited on purpose to say it.
We'll give you those points.
Announcer jinx is not real, I maintain. If I had that much power, I would not be working this show. It's over 2 minutes into this fourth quarter. Crooks down low. Basham went up for the block. She's called for the foul. And Basham now just picked up her third. And for Arizona State, almost everyone now with 3 fouls. In fact, Lovett and Skinner, the only 2 Sun Devils that have touched the floor tonight who do not have at least 3 fouls.
Yeah, it doesn't get talked about too much, but fouls are really important to the game. And when I say they're not talked about too much, I just mean strategy-wise, unless you're, in the huddles or doing your scouting reports when you pay attention to that stuff. But they count, and they really could make or break a game.
Yeah, you're not going to see free throws or fouls per se in a highlight reel.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're exactly right. It's the difference between winning and losing games. It totally can disrupt the game plan. Fauntleroy will skirt inside. She's blocked away by Crooks. A rejection and another one of those big smiles.
I was going to say, that smile. It's making me smile.
Yeah, it's impossible not to. It's infectious.
Initially, a really good first step and drive to the basket, but you do have to see in front of you. Crooks was ready.
Here's Lovett kicking out to Brown. Puts the ball in the deck, drives inside. A block and a chance at a three-point play. They give Jaylen Brown the benefit of the doubt. Almost looked like a continuation call, but ASU will not complain, and Brown will have a chance at the old-fashioned three. Knee removing there. Easy call. Emily Ryan dinged the foul. That's her second. Jaylen Brown now up to 15 to lead the way for Arizona State. They're back to within 7 with just over 7 minutes to play. A 3-possession game here in Tempe. Sun Devils would have taken this coming into the game. Crooks was nearly mugged, but she finished anyways. 20 now for Crooks.
It's actually weird that we haven't seen a perimeter shot in a while.
Both sides working into the paint. Brown a 3 off the mark. Basham tried to back tap it, kept it alive momentarily, but it ends up Cyclone basketball. Running ahead is Ryan. Ryan head up, kick out to the corner. Jones. Sun Devils wanted a travel call, they didn't get it.
That was close.
Step back 3. Ryan couldn't get it to go. And a whistle and a loose ball foul against Kennedy Basham. So Basham just picked up her 4th. So both starting post players for Arizona State with 4 fouls. Basham and Parkinson, 1 away from reaching the limit. And you can see the frustration on Kennedy Basham as she didn't agree with that call.
Yeah, that one was a tough one because everyone kind of just ran in there together.
A 4th foul on Arizona State, so Iowa State's 1 away from the bonus, and we've still got 6:35 to go in this quarter. Inbound and an easy layup right away, Addie Brown. That's a huge sequence. Remember that right there. The foul call, the 4th on Basham, and then an easy 2. Pushes the lead back to 11. Brown, elbow jumper, answers right back. Devils needed that. Brown now up to 17.
She looks like she's in a little bit of a zone there. The game plan should maybe just be get Jaylen the ball, see what she can do, and then everybody rebound just in case.
There's Brown. Matched up with Jaylen Brown. They try to dump it off down low. It's a turnover. Jazz Jackson runs the floor. Hesitates, kicks out Basham. She'll pop the 3. Barely grazed front iron. Basham is encouraged to take open 3s. She was open there early in the shot clock, though. And you can't help but wonder if ASU maybe could have gotten a better look. Step back on another jump shot off back iron. No good. Basham does pull down the rebound. Here comes ASU yet again. Under 5.5 to play in the ball game. Arizona State trying to pull off the upset. Statement win potential. Fauntleroy pulls up and connects with the corner pocket 3.
That was a big shot.
6-point lead for Iowa State.
And every possession on defense here from Arizona State is going to be huge as well, since everyone's playing
with foul trouble.
in foul trouble.
Around a screen and a late whistle, and another foul will come in. And it goes against Fauntleroy. That's her 4th foul. And Arizona State battling through the foul trouble. Kennedy Fauntleroy, corner pocket 3. 6-point game, 4:51 to go.
The team, regardless of what's happening.
Her last 6 games averaging nearly 29 points per game. She's the 5th leading scorer in the country. And you see that second half has been efficient and has been potent offensively. Free throw line is Emily Ryan. The first one is good. By the way, now 3 Sun Devils with 4 fouls. Parkinson, Fauntleroy, and Basham. Basham's the only one that's out there right now playing with those 4. We'll monitor that with under 5 minutes to play in this 4th quarter and an Iowa State lead of 8. Sun Devils have those 4 scorers in double figures. Skinner's not one of them, but she can heat up in a microwave oven fashion. She knocks down a 2 there to push it back to 6.
That is true. It only takes a couple baskets for her to really get going, and there's still time to do it.
7 points now for Skinner, well below her season average of 17 per night. Here's Ryan. They throw it down low to Crooks. They're trying to get Basham out of this game. Very close to a potential foul call. Coming in on the backside, battling for the offensive rebound was Jones, but it will be ASU ball in a 2-possession game with 4:11 to go.
She's done it a couple times now, but I do want to point out that was really good defense by Kennedy Basham, being able to stay in front, hands up, and stay disciplined, knowing that you don't have many fouls to give out anymore.
Skinner running the offense. Someone who's played for Natasha Adair her entire career. Started out at Delaware, then on to Arizona State. Brown tried a backdoor cut. It was telegraphed and picked off by Brown. Costly turnover for the Sun Devils. Addie Brown matched up with Jalen Brown. Crooks. Hands back, Ryan, the 5th-year senior, gets to the tin, had it blocked away, scramble for the ball, somehow no tie-up, and we play on. 5 to shoot. Brown. Kick out, Crooks, a long 2. No good, a little heavy, and ASU gets another stop. Surprising to see there wasn't a whistle of any sort on that entire possession.
Yeah, it looked like they wanted to stop a jump ball or a travel or something, but if anything, it might have been the jump ball.
Long 2's good for Skinner. The Devils have it down to 4. 3 minutes to play in Tempe, and now a foul is called on Jaya Levesque. It's her 3rd personal, and it's a bonus situation for the Cyclones. Arizona State will just not go away.
Yeah, right here, Kennedy did a good job of just being in the way there, and then Skinner also taking her time and taking a good shot for her in this game.
So big free throws to come for Emily Ryan. We've already told you once, but Iowa State, 17 of 27 from the line in this game. Big free throw that time for Ryan, and that's no surprise. She's an excellent free throw shooter. Now 31 for 34 this season.
Yeah, there's been a lot of free throws shot in this game, Braden, and if I was in the Arizona State huddle, that is the one thing that I think I would pay attention to the most, is fouling on undisciplined fouls.
Here's Brown. Had to get a couple of Cyclones off of her. Now it's Skinner. Skinner, this might be a 3. It was very close, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't go down anyways. It's kind of an ill-advised shot. You can see some arms raising up on the Arizona State sideline as if to say, that we could have gotten a better shot there. And it's now a critical possession. From here on out, every possession is critical for ASU. Ryan patiently gets to the basket, got it and one. That's an experienced, deadly take for Emily Ryan, and a chance at a 3-point play with 2:27 to go. As
we were just praising the disciplined defense there. That one was tough. Kennedy did jump out of position, but it was a great take to the basket by Ryan, knowing the situation, probably trying to draw that foul anyway to get to the free throw line.
Was the 5th on Basham, so she's now reached the limit. She's out of the game. Nevaeh Parkinson returns. She also has 4 fouls, remember. Basham's final line tonight, 11 points and 6 rebounds in 24 minutes of play. Free throw's good for Emily Ryan. 3-point play has pushed Iowa State's lead back to 9 with 2:27 to go. See Arizona State the foul trouble tonight, right on their season average, 7th most in the country in terms of fouls per game. Fortunately, it's been a trend for Arizona State all year long. Skinner fakes the pass, takes the shot, missed it heavy, and another rebound pulled down by Brown. 8 boards for Addie Brown now to go along with 13 points. We near 2 minutes to play in the game. For ASU, time is starting to become a big-time factor. Got to get a stop on this possession for the Sun Devils if they want a chance. Here's Reagan Wilson. Sprinting all over the floor. Crooks posted up with a Big 12 logo in the painted area. Straight away. As the shot clock expires off the mark, a huge offensive rebound. And Iowa State can tick off 20 more seconds. Smart play by Wilson not to take a shot as well.
Yeah, I was going to give her credit for that as well.
That's a freshman who plays really smart basketball. Here's Brown. And a foul with 1:24 to go. To the line, and the first one is good. Confident stroke that time for Brown. Hasn't been her best shooting night, just 3 of 10 from the floor, but despite that, she's still made an impact. She's gotten to the line now 16 times in this game, and 1 rebound shy of a double-double. You're not always going to have your best shooting nights, but working through that is huge.
Yeah, I was going to say that is still really efficient to just about have a double-double without points.
Foul was called that time on Crooks. That was just her first foul. That's also hard to believe as well, as physical of a player she is. It's her first foul tonight. 1:16 to go in this game. No look find to Levette. ASU's got to work really quickly down by 10. Jalen Brown, a corner 3. Had to have it, did not get it. Offensive board, though, to Jackson. Skinner plays off Brown yet again. Jalen Brown gets inside, fakes a pass. She's fouled with 1:02 to go. And the last thing you want if you're Iowa State is to give your opponent a chance to score with the clock stopped, but that's the case here. First free throw for Brown is no good. Sun Devil women's basketball, they'll be having a blackout on Saturday against Baylor. Arizona State takes on the Bears at 3:30 Mountain. The Sun Devils are going blackout Desert Financial Arena, so coming in person, be sure to wear black. Otherwise, catch the game on ESPN+. Inbound here, caught by Jackson, and they play it off to Wilson. ASU not fouling yet with under a minute to go in this game, and a 9-point lead for Iowa State.
Almost had a steal there.
Nearly did, but it'll stay with the Cyclones with 14 to shoot. No such thing as moral victories, and I know we've already said it once, but Arizona State, they have fought hard. There's another foul called. This time it goes against Levette. And it will be more free throws for the Cyclones. And that will do it on the night for Audie Crooks. finishes with 20, and she'll sit down after getting a huge round of applause. Free throws good that time by Jones. Whistle and a timeout will be taken for Arizona State with 45.6 seconds to go. If this result holds, we'll hear from Audie Crooks in the postgame. As the Cyclone, you just look at the all-time wins among active coaches. Good buddy Dino Ariema leads the way, of course. Over 1,200 wins. That's hard to believe.
Yeah.
Final 40 seconds. Skinner will hoist a desperation and knock it down. So Ty Skinner now up to 12. Another timeout is popped right away. And it's back down to a 7-point game.
I actually didn't know Coach Moore was on that list. My sister played for him.
Oh, there you go, at NC State. Yes, of course. Another legend in the coaching ranks. So Skinner will keep this thing alive at least for that foul.
Yeah, and I think that'll be, it should be a focus, but it'll be a challenge for Arizona State moving forward, being able to stay in games or keep their opponents off the free throw line.
Reagan Wilson will throw this in. The freshman nearly turned it over. She did. Brown picks it up. Here comes ASU. Down by 7. Skinner couldn't get the layup to go. Offensive board goes to Jalen Brown. She's got to work quickly. Gets the roll. It's back to 5 with 24 seconds to go. They're not dead yet. Nearly another steal. And a timeout will be called for the Cyclones with 23 seconds to go. The Devils signed up for a full 40. Put a nail in the coffin, but now it's back to a 5-point game with 23 seconds to go. And
yeah.
Iowa State, a team that's missed 12 free throws tonight.
Yeah.
Rely on a couple more. Who knows what could happen. Buzzer sounding before the inbound. All-out chaos here in Mullet Arena. And looking for some clarification is now second official will come over to chat near the midcourt strike.
While we have a second,
sure.
In the same breath, I do want to say, because it is admirable, it's good to be able to stay in a fight, but at some point you want to be able to not have to use all your energy for the comeback.
Right, yeah, and that plays a factor as well. Getting over the hump. You can reach near the top of the mountain, but to get to the top, it's very tough.
The next step, or the next, exactly. You get it. Okay.
Third microphone over there at the scores table. Score is correct. Oh, we play on. Same situation goes as follows. Arizona State's obviously going to have to try to come up with a quick steal or foul. Possession arrow favoring the Cyclones with 23 seconds to go. Challenge scores. Add it to the grocery list of wild things that have happened in this game. Nearly 5 seconds. It is 5 seconds. And the Sun Devils get the ball back with 23 seconds to go. And a timeout for Arizona State. Wow.
Wow.
So the defense works out. The Devils get it back with Brown gets it in. Skinner right back. Jalen Brown. Brown drives inside around Crooks off window. Couldn't get the roll. Parkinson on the offensive glass puts it back up and in. It's a one-possession game with 15 seconds to go. This is unbelievable. With 12 seconds to go. And icing the free throw shooter as well, potentially. Here's a look. Notice the clock on your bottom left. And they are going to add 0.4 of a second back on it. So 12.6. Every 10th matters.
So that paid off.
Paid off. Jackson, as we said, 67% from the line this year. She's 2 of 2 in this game. 2-possession game yet again. Arizona State has 1 timeout remaining. One more for the sophomore from Des Moines. Hit both of them. Clutch free throws for Ariana Jackson. She's congratulated by her teammates, and ASU just popped off their final.
And to double down with what you said earlier, ranks and they don't matter.
No. Jackson will throw this in. They find Ty Skinner. Under 10 seconds to go. Deep three, Skinner, air ball. Missed everything. Iowa State ball with 7.4 to go. And now the Cyclones, an inbound and some 8 free throws away from potentially escaping Tempe. With the result they thought they had rather easily about 40 seconds ago. Game clock, not actual time. And it will be Reagan Wilson to go back to the line with 6.1 seconds to go. Reagan Wilson, who hit a couple of big threes in this game. I'm not going to wow you with her numbers tonight. 8 points, 9 minutes, whatever, but
energy.
Energy, confidence, and really smart. High IQ plays as well. First free throw is good. Give the Cyclones credit as well. Down the stretch, they have been nails from the line. Wilson knocks down both. Back to a 7-point lead. Final 5 seconds. Brown will just hoist, but the Cyclones storm into Tempe. It was a roller coaster for 40, but Iowa State wins a hard-fought battle on the road. 90-83, the final score. Iowa State improves to 11-6 overall, 2-2 in the Big 12. Arizona State's 3-game winning streak is snapped. They moved to 8-8 overall, 2-2 in conference play. But Arnesia, that was a game that went back and forth, topsy-turvy momentum runs all the way through. And it was ultimately the Cyclones able to make big enough plays, knock down their free throws late, and survive a great effort from ASU.